Well, hello there, folks, and a very warm welcome back to What's for Tea. And I hope that I find you very well indeed. And thanks for coming over just to check out this very easy recipe. If you've been on the channel a wee while, you will know that we have fish pie quite often, but normally I do mine with mashed potato on the top, but just for a wee change I've done this with puff pastry, but you can use either or. It works really well with both. So as usual, I'm going to show you everything that I'm using, but I will put it on the screen as we go, and you'll also find it underneath the video. So I've got some peas, I've got my fish, I've got vegetable stock, onions, I've got butter as well, and then some flour, some whole grain mustard, some creme fraiche, parmesan cheese, a sheet of puff pastry, and also dill, which I think goes lovely with fish. The fish I'm using is smoked haddock, cod and salmon, but you use whatever fish you prefer for your fish pie. So go over to your cooker, a wee splash of olive oil, get that nice and hot, and then to that we're going to add the onion and then a wee dash of salt and pepper as well. The salt will help draw the moisture out of your onion and help it sweat down a wee bit quicker. So let that cook for about 5 minutes, just until it's nice and soft and starting to pick up just a wee bit of colour. Then to that we're going to add our butter. You can use salted or unsalted, it's up to you. So you want to melt this down, and then once it's melted we can go ahead and add the flour. We're going to make a roux. This is going to be the base of your sauce. So just plain flour or all-purpose flour depending on where you're from. So add that in to your melted butter. Then you want to give this a good stir in just to make sure that the flour is well stirred into the butter, and then you want to let this cook for a minute or two just to get rid of that raw flour taste. So a minute or two just bubbling away. It will go nice and foamy in appearance, and then you can move on. I am using vegetable stock, whatever type you prefer, whether it's bouillon, cubes, whatever. So you want to, add this in 2 or 3 stages just to make sure that you don't get any lumps, and it's really easy to stir in. So I like to do mine in 2 or 3 incorporations just like this, and the only lumps that will be in your sauce will be those onions. It's just a lovely creamy sauce at the end. So just do this nice and slowly, do it properly, and when combined it'll look something like this. Now we want to make it creamy, so I am going to add creme fraiche just to keep it a wee bit lighter. You can add cream if you prefer. I like creme fraiche in this because it's got a wee bit of a sour kick, which I think goes really well with the fish. So stir that through, and I'm going to add some whole grain mustard as well, just because I like the texture of the whole grain, the wee bits. And then I'm also going to add some parmesan cheese as well. So this is just grated parmesan. It's a nice strong cheese, so it's going to give your fish pie a nice flavour. You can use cheddar or whatever you prefer. Stir everything through and it'll go lovely and creamy and cheesy. And then I'm going to add my dill. This is about a tablespoon, and then some frozen peas as well. Just throw those in. I like the contrast or the texture change of the peas, and this is my fish here just going in. You just want to gently stir everything together. Your fish doesn't need to be fully cooked because it is going into the oven for about half an hour, and it will finish cooking in the oven. So just bring your heat right up, just inject a bit of heat in there, and then you can transfer this to an oven dish. Just make sure your oven dish is nice and deep. I am going to use puff pastry for the top. I'm going to flip my dish upside down, press it down just so that the dish leaves an impression, and the inner ring there I'm going to go round with a knife because I want my pastry sitting on the top of the fish pie rather than on top of the dish. But you can do either or, and you'll be left with something like this. So all you have to do is pop your fish mixture into the bottom of your dish. I like to smooth mine down just a wee bit on the top just to make sure the fish doesn't poke through the pastry, just with the back of a spoon. I've also got half tablespoon of milk. You can use beaten egg or don't bother, it's up to you. Pop your pastry on the top. I'm just going to poke mine down along that edge just to make sure it's nicely tucked in. It'll give you a kind of domed appearance on the top. I'm going to brush the top with my milk, just a very light layer of milk. The last thing I'm going to do is poke a hole in the top just to let the steam escape, because we don't want it all bubbling up and bubbling up the sides. So poke a wee hole in the top just like this. Now we're ready to bake. So pop this into the middle of your oven for about 25 minutes and your fish should be fully cooked and your pastry should be starting to go golden brown on the top, and it should be looking something like this. If you like your pastry a wee bit darker, you can leave it in for an extra 5 minutes, but this I thought was absolutely perfect. And it makes a nice wee difference with the pastry, because obviously you get the nice crispy pastry instead of the soft mashed potato, but I do love it with mashed potato as well. So let this cool down slightly and then you can dish this up. I'm just going to cut a wee hole in the top just to let you see what it's like underneath, and also to get a nice picture for the YouTube thumbnail. So I wouldn't normally do this, but I will let you see what it's like underneath just before I hack into this. And as you can see there, lovely, and you can see all the fish and that beautiful dill and sauce as well. So this is what we had for our tea, and it's such a meal in itself. We didn't bother having potatoes or anything like that, but just a few green beans at the side. These are just steamed green beans, then that lovely puff pastry on the top, and then just a wee bit of cracked black pepper as well. And this was so tasty, highly recommended. So thank you so much for watching if you're still here at this point, and a huge thank you as usual to the supporters of the channel over on my Patreon page, and to the channel members here on YouTube as well, for you all for watching, leaving your lovely comments, and for those that share the videos as well. It's all very much appreciated, and I will catch up with you during the week for another wee video recipe, or back on Sunday for meals of the week, or back on Saturday for our family food shopping unbagging. But whenever you choose to join me again, have a wonderful rest of your day, and if you do like these videos, consider subscribing just before you go. Take care and bye for now. Bye now.